What's up, everybody? It's Jerron, and we have, of course,
Stefan, a.k.a. Mayhem, a.k.a. Mr. Paper Stacks, a.k.a. I probably ain't got no money.
we need a budget.
Definitely on a budget. All right, so it's your favorite fat boys.
Once again,
Today we're going to talk about, let's call it health and wellness. So we got a couple of things that we want to discuss. We want to talk about Dr. Sebi, because there's been a lot of news circulating in the air about him recently because of a certain incident that we're going to actually touch on today. We're going to talk about vaccinations, because all of this ties into health. We're going to talk about Nipsy Hussle, is his name?
yeah, Nipsey Hussle, the rapper that passed away recently, back on, I think, was it March 31st, like the last Sunday in March. Due to gun violence, we're going to touch on that a little bit as well.
Yeah, so we're going to tie all of these things together and see how perception changes and how people can sell you dreams that without actually showing you that those dreams could actually be fulfilled. So,
first off, want to say, thank you to everybody that has watched and listened to our podcast. My first episode, we've had over 100 views on the YouTube page. We have so far 20 subscribers. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you that watched, subscribed. I really do appreciate it. Like I told Stefan, I didn't have any expectations, any goals set as far as like views. I just wanted to put it out there and just see what happens. So I'm just appreciative of, over 100. Like, I didn't even think we would get no more than 25, to be honest with you. So to have over 100 views, I was more than ecstatic to even learn that and see it, rise and keep going. So a couple updates. We have a logo now, which was done by Stefan. I love it. Hope y'all like it as well. You can see it on the YouTube page. I'm also going to put on my Instagram when I post a clip of this episode as well.
it's on our SoundCloud page as well as Spotify. Yeah, we're on Spotify now.
Yep. And so you can, follow me on your favorite fat boy Instagram, and the links will be there for you to see the YouTube visual, where you can check me and Stefan out, see our handsome faces.
I'm beautiful.
Very much so. You see my outfits and everything. You see my little hoodie, my hat. Got to put my shoe up here? You want to see my shoes?
I mean, if you want to put your shoe on my table.
You want my shoes on my
Yeah,
table?
take it off my table.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
If you want to see my outfits, I'll be dressing. I got that drip, as the kids say.
Oh, that's sad.
What's that?
I don't even know what that means. I guess that's
I don't know what it meant
said.
either. When the kid said to me, I thought I had something on the back of my shoe, like toilet paper. Like, you got that drip. Like, huh? So
that sounds like a disease you should consult a doctor for.
So, you want to check us out. The visuals there. And what else? So, real quick, I wanted to shed light on a couple of things that inspired me to start the podcast. So, I wanted to do a quick segment to show love and to mention 4 people that, have, started their own thing and followed their dreams and made nothing out of something. So, one person.
Something out of nothing?
What I say?
You said nothing out of something.
What'd you say?
It's something out of nothing.
That's the right way?
Yes.
So, something out of nothing. Sorry. But thank you for the correction. So, first up is a friend of mine named Kendra Woolridge. That's a very prestigious name. I like that kind of name. It has a good ring to it.
Yeah, sounds a little preppy.
Yeah, so she's good people's. It's better than Daquan Montgomery.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, you already know he a criminal. Daquan, he got a mistake. He got charged.
It's fire though.
It might got a hot beat on there. It might. So, but I like the she has a good ring to her name, but she's good people's. I know her for quite a while through mutual friends. She has her own nail polish coming out. It's gonna come out in between the spring and summer, and it's called Janet and Joe. Is the name of her nail polish. It's named after her grandmother's, and the nail polish is cruelty free. It is 7 free, which in a nutshell is free of 7 chemicals that are typically found in nail polish. that can be harmful to the people who wear the nail polish, and it's also vegan friendly. So I didn't know nail polish could be vegan friendly, but I thought it was very neat that she can come out with a product that I think appeals to all the masses.
And you got to do that marketing.
Right. So the official release, you can follow her at Janet and Joe on Instagram, and I'll be supporting and buying. No handouts over here, unless you want to give me a kidney. Not you, Kendra, but anybody wants to donate.
I mean, but if she wanted to give you a kidney,
I'll take it, but I'm not expecting it. So, but I'm a firm believer in support your friends, support black businesses. I'm trying to get better at supporting black businesses. So, I'm very excited to see her launch that. Typically, what I see on Instagram and Facebook is people are promoting that they sell dinners. They are selling their own clothing brands, which isn't a bad thing, but I see that a lot. So when I saw her coming out with a nail polish, like, oh, this is a great idea. Like, it's so far out the box. I would never think of starting something like that. So I want to applaud her, and seeing her start her company. It inspires me to like, oh, I want to do something, not necessarily lines like that, but I'm gonna get my own vision out.
oh, you don't have your own nail polish coming out?
Nah, I bite my nails. I'm trying not to bite my nails as much. So, but if you come out with a polish for where a clear polish so I can stop biting my nails, I pay top dollar for that right now.
Oh, well, I bite my nails, and I don't have a problem with it, so I won't bite it.
Yeah, it's a bad habit. I'm just trying to curb my bad habits these days. So, but again, it's called Janet and Joe. And one thing I want to do, shout out Kendra, is that I know you're a big Packers fan. I want to let you know Packers will not win a Super Bowl anytime soon. They are rebuilding. Yeah, they got Aaron Rodgers, but he needs some help. So I think the next time they win is if I get a new kidney. So just putting out there. The reason why, because I bet Kendra a long time ago that a Packers game, I made like $20, $40 I bet her. I lost. So it's just a little jab back because I lost the bet so many years ago. So, but number love. Thank you again, Kendra, for the inspiration. Another person I have is Anaya White. As someone I used to work with back in 2012 when I used to bartend at the casino out here in Maryland Live. And she has her own interior design company called Anaya White Interiors. The great thing I love about watching Anaya is that she's showing you her everyday hustle and bustle in New York City. That's where the company's located, in New York City. So she's traveling, between New York, Uptown, Manhattan, Queens, the five boroughs, and making it happen. Like she's recording her day when she's walking, on a train ride, she's on Uber. You see her, her everyday, every step of the process of her getting her clients' deeds done, and she's showing you, going picking up materials, different fabrics, showing you, how to make, like a living room or a room, look very high end, but make it affordable as well. And she's always she's been someone who's upbeat, positive, always smiling, and even if she's like running behind or like she hasn't eaten, she's like she can't wait to eat, and what she finally does is like, oh, she finally ate good because I know you were doing so much to get to this meal. So I just love her positivity. It's infectious. She's very encouraging, and I love to see her do her thing on as she builds her company up. So you can find her at Enea, that's spelled Eneia, white, like the color, interiors. If you can't spell interiors, I can help you. And she's on Instagram. And then we'll also tag Kendra and Ned on this video as well, so that y'all can follow and check out their pages too. And next, have a friend of mine named Larry Williams Jr. Larry is an author, and here is his book called, how you say it again? Enigmatic Gemini. I was butchering the word earlier, so that's why I needed help. So it's a book. It's a collection of short stories, poems, and letters about life written from the perspective of a Gemini. He's a Gemini, if you can't tell. And I wanted to highlight Larry because he's an author. He's a podcaster as well, and he's a traveler. He travels a lot. He's been to Africa. He's been to London, just to name a few places. But he's been outside the country several times. And one thing that drew me to Larry is that he was always like looking for like his next adventure. He was someone who's like, I'm gonna go here, and he would do it. I'm gonna go here next, and he would do it. He would be at work and always like looking up cheap flights. He was somebody, and it would trickle to where he would help other people look up cheap flights to go out of town, or go out of country, things like that. He would always help somebody find something that was cheap and reliable instead of paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars for an expensive flight. So, him being also a podcaster, I was like, okay, it's somebody I can, probably bounce ideas off of, and get a different perspective of how to, approach the podcast as well. He has a podcast called Amarix. I don't know if I'm saying that right. You look at it. I can't pronounce nothing today. Right there.
Remix?
Yeah. Remix. So that's a podcast dedicated to like everything comic book related, every superhero movie related. And he has an episode right now. It was about what to expect from the Avengers Endgame. Like that, like different theories coming up and things like that. Who will die, who's gonna survive, that kind of a thing. It was a good episode, but we won't get into that because we had a whole nother episode dedicated to
right. And I don't like spoilers.
Right, so we're gonna get into that. And here's another podcast coming up called The Listening. So The Listening is based it's him, his co-host, and a guest where they talk about any and every topic they want to talk about, and it kind of get out every emotion they have and just kind of just hash it out. So I think that's really good, especially with this day and age. A lot of people are talking about mental health and those things that come with it. So
mental health is important, people.
It is. Talk things out. Talk about it with somebody. So I think to have that as an outlet, I think it's very good, and I can't wait to see that to come out as well. So thank you, Larry. Go Spurs. And lastly is my homie Marvin Mitchell. We used to work together as well at the casino. We had a lot of fun together. He's a funny dude. We had so much fun just making jokes and having a good time at work. So Marvin is an aspiring musician and an actor. He has a mixtape out on Dat Piff called "You Deserve This," and it's pretty good. It was better than I thought it was going to be. It's something I can bop to. It's not what's out right now, like that mumble rap, nothing like that. So
right.
And he definitely put effort into it, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm dreading this. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be good or not. It's actually a good solid piece of work, and I definitely applaud you, Marvin. Like, it's good. He's also an actor. He's been on the Fox show's Star. You probably never.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
So it's some Lee Daniels show.
Okay.
But it's like, come on, kind of like the Empire. So like spinoff of that. And he's been on The Gifted. I think he's on season 2.
Okay.
So he's been the extra on both. I'm not knocking it or trying to downplay it because I remember.
An extra is a start.
Yeah. So I know we used to work together. He said he wanted to be an actor. So even though we hadn't worked together a long time, he moved to Atlanta and he's pursuing that dream, especially with the music being this music scene nowadays down in Atlanta.
The filming scene is really big in Georgia right now.
Yeah. So he's found his dream. He said he's going to do it, and he did it. So seeing him do that, it gives me the inspiration to try what I want to try and get my name out there and just pursue different things. So thank you to Kendra, thank you to Anaya, thank you Larry, and thank you Marv for the inspiration. So my goal with the podcast is to eventually build up an audience and to have these people on here that I can have a conversation with and and put their mind about Larry has a book. Ask him about the book he has in the podcast. Anaya with her interior design company, and Kendra with her nail polish, and with Marv, catch up and ask him how the process is with being an actor and also being a musician as well. So like I said, y'all like it, share it, so we get these views up, and that way we can have more people. We can have people on. I said you're going to enjoy us, of course, but that's the vision I have. I want to bring people on so we can bring different perspectives here and different topics to the podcast.
All right, you done giving shout outs?
Yep, I'm done getting shout outs.
All right, so we're going to get right into it. So the first thing we want to talk about is a topic that's close to my heart because I have encountered so many individuals who believe so highly in what this man used to preach, and that's Dr. Sebi and his cure for all things.
Right.
So I was surprised that you brought this topic up to want to discuss it. What made you want to discuss Dr. Sebi?
So I've heard his name like on the internet here and there, and when I first heard it was Nipsey Hussle saying that he cured AIDS, and he had a case in New York, and he beat the case. And then I've heard other rumblings of people saying, "Oh yeah, he cured this. You should, you try his diet. It will cure your illnesses." And I was like, if he can cure it, then why was this like known long ago when it first populated? And then I started doing some research, and he didn't necessarily, he didn't cure AIDS. He didn't cure any disease.
Not verifiably.
Right. So he was putting ads out in the New York paper, or it was New York Times. He put ads out saying that for $500 and whatever amount for depending on the disease, he can cure it. And then he was brought to trial or brought to court to prove it. And he had one case, and I don't know, it was dismissed, but it was like, okay, it must have been dismissed because he wasn't like found guilty. He didn't really necessarily beat anything. And then he went to the Supreme Court in Brooklyn, and that's when they brought on his with the witness, like over 70 witnesses, saying like, hey, did he cure your disease? And they were like, well, I feel better.
Yeah, so that's the second case. The first case he actually lost, where he was claiming that he can cure diseases. He lost that case, and he had to stop saying that he can cure things because he had absolutely no medical proof. So a lot of things that people get mixed up about Dr. Sebi and a misunderstanding about Dr. Sebi is, first and foremost, he's not a doctor. Mm-hmm. He no medical training whatsoever. It's like calling a witch doctor a doctor. And secondly, is that his Supreme Court case that every believer in Dr. Sebi always spouts about. How did he win his Supreme Court case if he couldn't cure these things? Was the fact that it was the Supreme Court of Brooklyn, which is not the highest court in the land and not even the highest court in New York City, which a lot of his firm believers, many of people who I know love him dearly, don't seem to understand that.
Yeah, a lot of people like, oh, he won the Supreme Court, but there's a difference, like you said, in the I guess the hierarchy of the court system in each and every state.
Yeah, so I mean, there's the highest court in the state, which is not the Supreme Court of Brooklyn, and then there's the highest court of the land, which is the Supreme Court, as in one of the three branches of government. He didn't go to either of those where his case was quote unquote won.
Right, and I guess to hear, oh, a black man found a cure, I think it sounds good.
Oh, it most certainly sounds.
Yeah, it sounds good, but there's no proof of it. Not to say that he maybe not say he could have been on the verge of it, or maybe he did find something that could lead to possibly deterring an ailment, but it's like it don't add up. Like his Dr. Sebi diet, like what? Like can you go over what that consists of?
Which man?
His Dr. Sebi, his diet that he said that you should follow to.
Oh yeah, he had an idea that if you only eat raw foods and
Right,
natural foods, that it could kickstart your body's immune system or something along those lines. If you have an alkaline diet, it would kickstart your body into curing diseases, regardless of what that disease was, whether it was bacteria, whether it was a virus, whether it was genetic. Your body could cure it all because of these specific foods that you had to eat. Now, if that sounds far-fetched to you, it's probably because it was. And again, no verifiable proof that he ever cured anything. And I've scoured the internet in any article that I could find to try to at least find one example where he cured something.
Because the people that were in his second case, that they interviewed over 70 witnesses, they they weren't cured of anything. They said they felt better.
Yeah. So what Dr. Sebi did, smart man. He gave them all questionnaires about how they felt initially and questionnaires about how they felt afterwards to keep track. And he brought these questionnaires in and he sent over 70 people and they all said they felt better. Feeling better is not curing anything. I mean, I could walk around with 100 extra pounds on myself and have diabetes. I could lose that 100 pounds and feel better because I lost 100 pounds. It doesn't mean that I got rid of diabetes.
And to put it in perspective again, I have renal kidney failure. So I feel better now that I'm on dialysis, but that doesn't mean my kidney disease is cured. My condition is irreversible with a diet.
Well, not according to Dr. Sebi.
I'm letting you know it's not it's not reversible if I change my diet. Like they tell me to stay away from certain foods that are high in potassium, like oranges, mangoes, bananas. Stay away from potatoes, dairy products like milk, cream, milk, cheese, and ice cream and things like that. Because too much potassium can cause an irregular heart rhythm, which can cause a heart attack. So I still had those foods every now and then, but not too much of it because it can make me sick. So I feel better, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm cured of my kidney disease. So just like I say, just put it again in perspective. If you feel better, it doesn't necessarily mean you're cured. So,
which was a lot of where the controversy around him centralized is because of the fact that after his case was thrown out, because again, he had, at no point in time did he ever say that he cured anybody. I mean, they had undercover agents going to one of his seminars and into his program, and trying to get him to say that he could cure their diseases, but he never said he can cure it. And the 70 witnesses always said that they feel better. But as soon as that case was dismissed, Dr. Sebi himself went around running and says, I won my Supreme Court case that proves that I can cure diseases. But winning the case does not give medical efficacy. It does not prove that your medicine that you're pushing can cure anything. It just proves that whatever charge they brought you to court over, you were not found guilty of.
right. So he just got lucky.
To some degree, yes. Because again, they brought him to trial because of the fact that he was pushing this, I can cure things. But he never said that he could cure things. He was making people feel better, which is admirable in and of itself. But after that case, he won that case, he ran with that, which in dangerous things that people, saying, you know what, I'm going to give up this medication that I'm supposed to be taking for this ailment and this disease and follow the Dr. Sebi plan, and that's going to do it. Because again, I know people who believe wholeheartedly in what this man preaches. I mean, I know a woman, she will shit on your life if you believe in God, but she believed that Dr. Sebi could cure every disease known to man.
So do you think that he might have been on a breakthrough? Or if he was, whatever his, I guess, I won't say teachings, but
his teachings.
Okay, well, I guess, do you think his teachings could eventually lead to a cure?
Me, honestly, I think he was a con artist. Because during the big AIDS epidemic, a lot of people snake oil salesmen came up and was saying that they got the cure.
Explain what a snake oil salesman is.
Snake oil salesman is that whatever they're selling, they say it cures any number of diseases. The number of diseases is extremely vague, and it says, and it's snake oil. It only works off of the placebo effect, which is the idea that if you believe that it's curing you, it's working, but it doesn't actually do anything. And he was just another con man coming up in the 80s because AIDS was the biggest thing. It was new. It was a vast discovery. It was killing a lot of people. So he's selling snake oil. And the idea that his regimen could cure AIDS, it could cure liver diseases, it can cure diabetes. It's just one thing just cures everything. You've never seen that in life.
So he had one formula that could, I won't say a formula, but a regimen that can cure everything. And that's been unheard of before.
Exactly. But that's what he was selling, and people, when you're depressed, when you at the end of your rope, you'll want to believe anything, especially something that seems easy, even if it's too good to be true.
That's very true. Like we was talking about Steve Jobs, and he died. He passed away from cancer.
Right. I mean, and he was in that idea of the holistic medicines. Instead of going through a doctor, going to chemotherapy, he's like, you know what, I'm going to try this holistic approach. And he died from what ails him. And he didn't have to.
Yeah, I recently saw someone on TV say that they were asking them if they tried when they started chemo for their cancer treatment, and he was like, no, I tried a holistic diet, and that seems to be working, and I prayed, and God told me to start chemo, and that's what led him to start chemo.
You know what? I'm glad his God is a rational God, because a lot of other people's gods will say, you know what, keep doing this holistic approach and don't take the doctor's recommendation.
Yeah, I've never been, as long as I've been sick. Well, I'll say I had my kidney disease. They've never told me to change my diet. Like I said, they told me to stay away from certain foods now since I'm on dialysis.
Right, which is a change in your diet.
Right, but
not that drastic.
Right, but at the same time, they never pitched to me, well, if you change your diet, you can be cured of this. So I've never been told that. But I think like I said, a lot of people believe that, if you have an alkaline diet or if you follow his diet, like your life will change. And I mean, I think there's been proven studies that if you take away, you change your diet, take away certain foods, like, eating fried foods or fast foods, you'll probably feel a lot different. Not drink more water versus soda. You probably won't feel as sluggish. You probably you'll probably have more energy. But to say, eat mangoes every day for the rest of your life and nothing else, you won't have any disease. That's not going to cure anything.
At least not from a scientific standpoint that has ever shown that it can be proven.
Right, and then there's a big conspiracy around him that he was killed because of his, him being able to cure these diseases. Now, one thing we thought was interesting was that how old was he when he passed away?
He was 80 and 82 or something along those lines. He was in his 80s.
Yes, he was well up there. And I just want to put it in perspective like this. How old was Malcolm when they killed him?
Yeah, I mean, we can just look it right up because Malcolm was fairly young when he died.
He wasn't even 40.
Let's get the exact age of his death. So probably, should have researched this a little,
We got time to kill. They ain't doing nothing.
No, Malcolm X was 40 when he died.
Okay, so Malcolm was 40 when he died, and Malcolm was revolutionized the people. Martin Luther was how old when he got killed?
I said Martin Luther King was 41 when he died.
Fairly young.
39.
39. Martin was 39?
Yes, 39.
Martin was 39 when he was assassinated, and he was right there in the beginning or like the middle of the civil rights?
In the midst of civil rights.
Yeah, so in the midst of civil rights, he's trying to get minorities, black people, civil rights.
Revolutionary.
Killed him at 39. Who I say? Fred Hampton, the Black Panther.
Right. Yeah.
Black Panther leader. He was what was it? 2021.
Yeah, in his 20s.
In his 20s, was killed by the FBI. So they were trying to get us, unity and civil rights, and us to see a different way for us. They got killed fairly young, and you gonna let this old man, you gonna let him get to the ripe old age of 80.
Where if he was the man that he claimed he could have cured every disease by that time before he died.
So he was, how old was he in the 80s? So let's say what, maybe 50? No.
I mean, he said he would have been closer in his 50s.
So if he in the 80s,
they gave him a good amount of time to change the world before they assassinated him.
Right. So you Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther, killed Frederick Young, but you let this man live for 30 more years. It doesn't seem, that doesn't add up, that you killed these prominent figures, but you let this man live, and then you kill him at 82 in jail in what? He was in Honduras.
Yeah, I believe it.
He might have been. He was in jail in Honduras, and he died of pneumonia.
Pneumonia. Yeah.
So, and he was sick, but I don't believe that he was killed. And if he was on to something, if he was on something back in the 80s, then I can see something happening that soon after the court case.
Right. Then scream conspiracy.
Right. But it's like, you let this man live and then you kill him off at 80 is like.
Yeah. After he has lived a long, fruitful life, gaining tons of money from desperate people. So I don't know if that conspiracy really holds up.
Right. And he was also in jail for money laundering.
Yeah. Definitely. Walking around with tons and tons of cash that typically you don't do unless you're doing something nefarious. Granted, not saying that he was an old man, but old people tend to hide money under the mattress. But yeah, it's just a lot of shadiness going on.
Yeah. And so what I would say is, before you, I guess follow the belief or something, definitely do your research. If you see red flags, research those red flags and see what comes up on it. Like, there's a ton of information on the internet to just kind of believe something so blindly.
Yeah, I mean, even if you do believe in the Dr. Sebi way of life, if you even go to his website, where they're shilling his product and his way of living, they will tell you, don't use this as a substitute for what your doctor tells you. Use this in conjunction, because somebody in legal will cover in their ass. So that should tell you a lot.
Yeah, because I'm interested to see where this documentary they had coming out was being produced by Nick Cannon about Dr. Sebi. Like, I seen that he's talked to one of his sons. He's talked to his first wife, and I know Nipsey Hussle was talking about is going to produce a documentary about how and why he beat his court case. So I don't know how far he was into it when he talked about it. It was in 2018 when his debut album came out around February. So I don't know how far he gotten from the time he mentioned it on the interview until his untimely death. But I'm definitely interested to see what they come up with, because I seen an article on BET. They were talking about Dr. Sebi, and they did not say he won anything. But a lot of people were saying that he won something.
Because Dr. Sebi.
Right, he said it himself.
Yeah, I mean, on any time somebody put a camera in his face, he would always talk about how he beat the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and
which frames it really, because again, we've already discussed that.
Yeah, I seen also a clip of him saying that, he went to Oprah, he went to Minister Louis Farrakhan, and several other, popular black figures in our community, saying, hey, I had the cure, we should, promote this, you should be behind it, and they all turned him down. And then he would say, oh, you're not for the black people, you're not for black people, you're against our community, you're not trying to help them.
I mean, I even find it surprising that Oprah turned him down, because she promotes Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz, and they got some, that's a topic for another day.
I mean, Dr. Phil's all right, though. I mean, I'm not gonna vouch for him and say they, everything they say is golden.
Hey, I mean, any man with an honorary doctorate, just call him doctor, whatever, Dr. Cosby, whatever, topics for another day.
Not Bill. not
topics
Cliff.
for another day.
Not Cliff.
Topics for another day. And so, and also on, in the idea of believing in these crazy things and without doing any real research, is people vaccinate your kids. There has been a huge surge in an anti-vaccination movement. Vaccinate your goddamn kids.
So what started that? Because I saw where I think it was in 2000. In 2000, it's like the measles was wiped out.
Yeah, we were extremely close to eradicating measles in America. Extremely close.
And then in 2005, there's a little resurgence.
And now we've had...
And then this doubled.
Yeah, a huge measles outbreak because somebody wanted to link vaccines to autism. I don't know who was funding the study, but the study has since been shown to be completely flawed, and the doctor who originally promoted the study and published it has lost his medical license because for a lot of shady things, but celebrities endorsed it and it's stuck. And so now we have people who have benefited from vaccinations now claiming that vaccines are causing illnesses in kids. I'm sorry, but yes, there has been a rise in autism. There has been a rise in vaccinations, but correlation does not mean causation. We know more about autism because we know more about autism, so it's easier to diagnose.
Right. Like, 10, 20 years ago, like we were saying, oh, he or she's just crazy, or they
he's
got
special. Put him in the special class. But now we know better. We know that there is a legitimate reason for a child's behavior problems, their mental issues.
Right.
We are able to diagnose it better.
It's not coming from a vaccination.
Yeah, I mean, there has been no link between vaccines and autism. Nobody can prove it. I mean, as much as people are screaming that that's what it is, nobody can prove it. Again, I had the same friend who believes so heavily in Dr. Sebi, said if she knew now, back then what she knows about vaccines, she wouldn't have got her kids vaccinated. But if you think that there's some nefarious, crazy things in vaccines are patented. You can go and look up the patent and see what the ingredients are, and then research every ingredient so that you can realize that it's not some crazy shit that they're trying to put in your kid's blood to cause them to be retarded. Just gonna put that out there.
That would be real fucked up if that was the case.
I mean, granted, the government has done some shady shit.
Yeah, we
look at Tuskegee.
I'm about to say that. I just about to say that.
I mean, so I understand there's a little bit of skepticism with these things, but you can do the research. We have the internet now. They didn't have it back then. They couldn't go around and research what's going on, but we can do that now.
Yeah,
we have that ability.
There's no reason to be ill-informed. Like I said, like with Dr. Sebi, it was like, he went to the Supreme Court? Like, it's like, what's like Roe versus Wade?
Right.
And all, like those cases, like that was something that you learned about in school. So why wouldn't this be a case where...
a Supreme Court case, winning a Supreme Court case changes the law of the land. If he beat a Supreme Court case, it would change the law of the land. So he wouldn't just have to go. He wouldn't be the only one saying he cured a disease. There would be laws on books saying that it was happening.
Right, exactly. His name would be in books forever.
Yeah, it would have been Sebi versus the Supreme Court, and we would all be eating an alkaline diet because it's proven to cure all diseases.
Yeah, I just don't understand where, like, especially like vaccinations, like, it seems like it does more good than bad. I think the bad comes from like you not getting your kids vaccinated, and they can be subjected to potential diseases that.
I guess part of the problem is that we are so far removed from when there were no vaccinations, and to see the detrimental effects of these diseases on kids. So that because we are so far removed from that, it's so many years, and vaccinations have been so widely spread and been so effective that it's easy to dismiss how effective they were because we never got to see the end result of a child getting measles and the child getting mumps, and rubella, because we are so far removed from it.
What the hell is rubella?
It's a disease that you don't want your kids to have.
Well, what is it? I want to look out for it.
You've already had the vaccinations for it. It's part of MMR, vaccinations, measles, mumps, and rubella. It's a disease. You can look it up on your own time. It's fucked up.
I never heard that till you said that. Rubella. I've heard of measles and mumps.
Yeah.
That sounds like some old, back in the 1700s kind of a shit.
Yeah, like I say, you should look it up. It's fucked up.
Is it anything like the blue waffle?
Oh God, no! Get the fuck out of here with that noise.
That's the first thing popped in my head. Something about that beyond that.
Okay, and so and before we close out, I know you want to discuss it. We brought his name up a couple of times, so let's talk about Nipsey Hussle. I mean, it's far a little more removed from his work with Dr. Sebi, but just him in general. And, the reason that you wanted to discuss him. Because again, we talked about it a couple of times throughout this segment.
So unfortunately, he was shot and killed in his home in not his home, but his his area in Los Angeles in the parking lot of a store he owns. He owns several businesses in this parking shopping center, I should say. And when I've been a fan of his music since like 2013, and also want to send condolences out to his family and friends. Um, it's sad because he was doing a lot of positivity in his community, and he was just starting. Um, he had a partnership with Puma, where they donated $10,000 to his school. They redid the playground. They repainted it. They put like new goalposts in the basketball court. Um, and he had like his partnership with Puma. He's gonna have like a clothing line come out in the fall of 2009. I'm pretty sure it's still coming out. But he was like just starting like to kind of really shed light in his community. Like I say, he owns several businesses in the shopping center. And what I thought was at first, like damn, they took out a good dude. It was more so, some hating that nigga took out a good dude. It's more so that he had a altercation with somebody, words were exchanged, called somebody a snitch, and they shot him several times, and he got shot once, and then he left, came back, shot him again, and then repeated this about 2 or 3 or 4 more times.
Oh, that's an angry motherfucker right there.
Yeah, this dude was angry. He also shot 2 other people that were standing with Nip. So it seems like he had a lot of anger within himself to, let out that kind of violence. And like I said, at first I thought it was like, damn, they like somebody just took him out because they must have been hating on him. But it seems that this is more so like, a mishappening gone bad.
Yeah, I know. When you first presented this topic to me, I never even heard of Nipsey Hussle, never heard of anything about him, never heard his music, didn't know a thing about him. So I did a little bit of research, and one of the things that I saw, saying he was an activist. So I was like, okay, let me try to see what things that he was doing to be an activist, and listening to his music, and then reading about his death, and I was like, he was a gang member, and which doesn't immediately say that you need to be executed, but and listening to his music, the lifestyle that he promoted was a gang lifestyle, and then reading up on the altercation that led to his death was still seemed like it was that same lifestyle and the way things were handled in that lifestyle.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit because like what would make somebody, I guess, take that reaction or or that kind of action against somebody that they calling you. They calling you a bitch, or they saying you a bitch ass nigga. Right. He called him a snitch.
And in the gang lifestyle, being a snitch could be a life or death situation.
Right. And I think I think he's the guy who shot him. I think it's Eric Holder, I believe. I think he was an trying to be an up and coming rapper. So I think he was trying to get his name out there as well. So someone Nipsey's stature versus his stature. If someone calling you a snitch, ain't nobody gonna fuck with you.
Yeah, that could destroy your career.
Yeah, nobody's gonna fuck with you and try to bump your music if he feels though, you ain't for the people and you're not for the community.
Right, or the lifestyle that we're promoting.
Right, So it just learning more about the situation is like, okay, so it wasn't just like it was what he did was it was hateful, but it doesn't say out of hate. Like, oh, he's doing better than me, or
right.
he's helping his community. He's doing stuff that I want to do, or I haven't got a chance to do it. He's flaunting it in my face, and I can't do nothing that I can do about it. No, that's not. That's how I kind of first took it, but it was just something. It happens every day in the hood. Words are exchanged. I don't like what you said. All right, well, I catch you slipping. I'm gonna get that ass.
Yeah, I mean. Access to guns is extremely easy in this country, and it's extremely easy to pull a trigger.
Right. It's just unfortunate because, like I said, he was just starting to bubble. Like his popularity was starting to really rise. So he was nominated for nominated for
nominated for a Grammy.
What was I saying? Nominated. That's a new word. He was nominated for a Grammy. So he dropped a good project. And he was about, he had different business ventures. Like he had a business called Vector 90. So it was like bringing minorities in that space to kind of collaborate together and, kind of just bring different people there to do different things. I thought it was a really cool, something cool to have in this community. Like if there are other people who have businesses or investors, to kind of bring those, like bring up back to 90 day, like every city, like a Baltimore, a Philadelphia, a New Orleans, a Miami, like you can bring all kinds of people together and then watch what they build. So I think that's what he was trying to do, was like bring different cultures in Los Angeles together to, collaborate.
Yeah, it's as cold as it might sound. Is the life that you promote and the life that you continue to live, it has ramifications. I mean, I listened to his music, and after you introduced him to him, I'm not going to say that I was a fan. It didn't really capture me, and I tried to do some research on it. But those things have consequences, regardless of whether or not we want to believe that they do. So the lifestyle that you promote and the lifestyle that you live, and if you continue to live that lifestyle, if you don't evolve from that, it'll come back to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, I don't believe he was. I think he was affiliated, of course, but I don't believe he was, still, doing any kind of gang activity. Because like the next day, he was going to meet with the LAPD to work on, gang violence.
Yeah, right.
So he was trying to bridge that the gap between the gangs and the law enforcement to, become more cohesive. So he was definitely trying to be he was a pillar in his community. He was definitely trying to invoke change.
Yeah, but then I would have to say, how do you disassociate the image that you put in your music videos to the person that you're trying to be? Because then, one of the music videos that I watched while, researching him is, they're doing like a bank robbery or armored truck robbery, and he, has a police chase that goes into his community, and then the community members stop the police officers and like surround them like they're about to jump them, and stop the police from getting to Nipsey.
What kind of message are you sending?
Right, and it's not like he was doing some Robin Hood type situation where he was robbing from the rich and giving to the poor of his community. He was using the money to get his friend out of jail.
Well, that's robbing the rich and giving to the community. You getting the homie out, getting him back into the community.
Oh, is that where we want to go with that?
Well, I don't know.
Well, and at this point, we only speculate.
Yeah, but I
don't know what the thought process behind that music video. Music movie.
It is a lame, but I think that was he wanted to make a movie. I think from an artistic point of view, you just want to shoot, your typical music video, but you want to, make it entertaining. And I think that's what it boils down to. That was, he was making something entertaining.
Oh,
so I mean, it like you said, it was like inspired by Heat. It looks like it's inspired by
right,
Heat.
Yeah.
So, he took that and then turned it into a music video. I thought it was, it looked like he was having fun. It was fly, riding in a coupe with his girl, on, in LA, and rapping, and the cops are chasing them. It's an entertainment.
Oh yeah, understandable.
So, yeah.
But when that entertainment leaks into real life.
Yeah, I think then you have a person like his killer who he might separate. He can't probably separate the two. He probably thinking that he about that life,
or still about that life,
and he's like.
I'm trying to move beyond it.
Yeah, I'm moved beyond it. So, like I said, he was affiliated, but I don't think that he was, gang banging still. He's. I think he said himself like, yeah, he has a past, and he's moved past it. But how far removed really is he?
Right. I mean, especially when if the reasoning for the shooting is true, where you get somebody who is still in that lifestyle when you call him a snitch.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't be that far removed. Because, why would you care?
That's true, too. That's a good point. Because a lot of people were, saying that you should. This is why you can't get back to the community. That's why you can't get back to your hood, because it's like it's somebody out there that's hating, that is, just waiting to, to clip you. And I don't think that's the case, but yeah, people are going to hate because they don't like what you're doing. That's going to be a given.
Right.
Will they attempt to take your life?
I mean, let's hope that not everybody who hates you tries to take your life.
Right. They can just hate from afar. They can hate.
Quite a lot of us would be dead by now.
Yeah, they can hate from afar. They can hate, behind their computers, behind their phones. But as long as they don't take it to that next level, then it's like it's just words. You know, it's hurtful, but it's just words though, and it's like people like kind of like feeling like reluctant to start giving back to the community, and I hope that nobody does that. I hope they still want to give to the community because you don't want other people coming to the community and taking your people out so they can build a Starbucks or something that's not necessarily beneficial to the community. You want to be able to. I think you should want to build your community up. Put things in that's going to benefit people by getting them jobs. You know, maybe something healthier like instead of putting McDonald's there, put something that's going to be healthy for everybody to eat. And also when a lot of people were like, oh, he didn't have security. The security he had in the shopping center didn't have armed guards. That's because he employed felons. So of course felons can't carry weapons. Should he had at least one person that carried
even still, having armed security would create, at least in this situation, seems like it would just create a big shootout as opposed to them stopping the person from killing Nipsey.
Yeah, that could have been it because his brother had pulled up right after the shooting happened, and he said that he wished he was been there because he would have shot back. Right, so it would, like you said, would probably turn into just a big old shootout. So who knows? His life was lost. And I think the other two were wounded, but then there could have been more loss of life.
Right.
So that's never good in any case. Not, even he lost his life, but it wasn't. That's how he should have went out.
And this is something that's on topic but off topic. We can discuss it at a later date. But cops tend not to be able to distinguish black people when it comes to a good guy with a gun and a bad guy with a gun. So there could have been a whole lot of loss of life on this particular day, but that's a topic for a different day.
Yeah, that is very true. So again, condolences to his family, his friends. Definitely life cut too short. He was 33, and I just turned 33, so it's like damn, life is short. So it's like he put a lot of positivity out there in the world, and just is like one. I won't say it's a mistake he made, but like that, it just fucked up how he went. You just never know what. I guess you don't never know what's in somebody's heart to make what you can say to them, not say to them, can make them react when they see you.
Yeah, 'tis his life. All right, so I think that would probably bring us to the end of this discussion. So, just to kind of recap, people, research anything that you want to believe in. Do some research and not just things that confirm your bias. Vaccinate your motherfucking kids so that everybody else ain't harmed, and be mindful of the image that you portray, the life that you lead, and how it can impact you in any way, shape, or form.
I ain't about that life. I'm sick.
Yeah, sick people either tend to be not about their life or really about their life. Because if you ain't got much to lose, go for it, I guess.
Now, don't go fool with me. Stay your ass over there.
So that's our show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching it. Whatever means that you're doing it. So we're on SoundCloud. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. So soon we'll be on Google Play and iTunes. We're going to be everywhere. You're going to see us. You're going to hear us. And you're going to get sick of us, but you're going to love us.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's it. Peace out, lovely people.